Hi, I'm Bianca. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. One click from you means more stories can be shared. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers and make a difference. Let's begin. I never thought I'd be telling this story. But here we are. 6 months ago, I was standing at the edge of a cliff with my son-in-law Mark, admiring the view of the ocean below. Today, I'm watching his life crumble piece by piece, and I can't say I feel bad about it. Bianca, you have to see this view. Come closer to the edge, Mark called out that day, his voice unusually excited. I'm good right here, thanks, I replied. But he insisted. No, really. The way the sun hits the water from this angle is incredible. I reluctantly stepped closer, my hiking boots crunching on the loose gravel. Elena told me you've been asking questions about our finances, he said, his tone suddenly different. Well, she is my daughter. I worry when she tells me you won't let her see the bank statements. That's between me and my wife, he snapped. You need to stay out of our business. I turned to face him. When my daughter calls me crying because you've spent their house down payment on your investment opportunity, it becomes my business. You don't understand business, Bianca. That money is going to triple in value. Is that why you've been hiding the statements? Because it's such a great investment? The change in his face was instant, like a mask slipping. You know what your problem is, Bianca? You never know when to back off. And you never know when to stop lying to my daughter, I countered. He stepped closer, his face inches from mine. I warned you last time. This is my family now, not yours. Elena will always be my family, and I won't let you ruin her life. She doesn't need you anymore. She has me, he snarled, and I'm getting tired of your interference. I felt his hands on my shoulders, a hard shove, and then, nothing but air beneath me and the horrifying realization of what was happening. They say your life flashes before your eyes when you're about to die. For me, it was just Elena's face, my beautiful daughter who had married this monster 3 years ago. By some miracle, I landed on a narrow ledge about 30 feet down. My body shattered, broken leg, cracked ribs, concussion, but I was alive. I heard Mark's footsteps retreating quickly. He hadn't bothered to look down and confirm I was dead. Hours later, rescue workers pulled me up on a stretcher. Mark stood beside my sobbing daughter, his face a perfect mask of concern. Mom, oh my God! Elena cried, clutching my hand. What happened? Mark asked, his eyes wide with fake worry. Did you slip? I locked eyes with him. In that moment, I made a decision. I don't remember, I whispered. Everything's fuzzy. In the hospital, Detective Reynolds visited me. Mrs. Harris, can you tell me what happened on that cliff? Elena and Mark sat on the other side of the room. I'm afraid I have some memory issues from the fall, I said. Traumatic amnesia, the doctor called it. That's convenient, Mark muttered, then quickly added, I mean, it's terrible you can't remember. Excuse me? Detective Reynolds turned to Mark. Would you care to elaborate on that comment? Mark shifted uncomfortably. Nothing, just... It must be frustrating for everyone that she can't remember such an important detail. More frustrating for her, I imagine, the detective said, studying Mark carefully. Dr. Sharma, my physician, entered the room. Bianca needs rest now. Memory may return with time, or it may not. After they left, Dr. Sharma stayed behind. You remember, don't you? She asked quietly. Every second, I confirmed. But no one would believe me over him. Not without proof. So what will you do? I smiled grimly. Recover, then make him wish I'd actually died. Over the next 3 months, I played the role of the forgetful mother-in-law perfectly. I moved in with Elena and Mark, temporarily, while I recovered. I really don't think this is necessary, Mark complained to Elena when he thought I couldn't hear. She could stay at a rehab facility. She's my mother, Mark. She almost died, Elena shot back. Fine, whatever. Just keep her out of my home office. That, of course, was exactly where I needed to be. One afternoon, while Elena was at work and Mark was on a conference call in the kitchen, I hobbled into his office. His laptop was there, but locked. On his desk, however, was a stack of mail. I quickly shuffled through it, finding a bank statement from an account Elena knew nothing about. The next day, I accidentally bumped into his desk while he was showing me something on TV. "Be careful!" he snapped, steadying a framed photo of him and Elena. "Sorry, still getting used to these crutches," I said innocently. As the frame tilted, I noticed it wasn't flush against the wall. "Your picture's crooked." "I'll fix it later," he said dismissively. That night, I returned to find a small safe behind the picture. Classic. 3 days and one borrowed sticky note with his password later, I had photos of everything inside. When Mark found me in the hallway outside his office one day, he cornered me. "What were you doing in there?" he demanded, voice low so Elena wouldn't hear from the kitchen. "Looking for Elena? Is that a crime?" I replied, feigning confusion. "Don't play dumb with me, Bianca. I know that confused old lady act is just that, an act." I dropped the facade momentarily. "Be careful, Mark. People who try to kill me tend to regret it." He laughed. "Prove it. No one will believe you." "We'll see about that," I said, my voice sweet again as I heard Elena approaching. "Oh, Elena, honey, there you are. I was just telling Mark about my new medication." During my confused wanderings around their house, Walker and all, I discovered Mark had been lying about more than just finances. He was planning to leave Elena once his business deal went through, taking everything they had. I called my old friend Thomas, a retired accountant. "I need your help with something delicate," I explained over coffee when he visited. "You finally going to tell me what really happened on that cliff?" he asked. "Mark pushed me," I said simply, "and I'm going to make him pay for it." Thomas's eyes widened. "Bianca, that's attempted murder. Go to the police." "With what proof? It's my word against his. I need more." "What are you planning?" "Nothing illegal," I assured him. "Just justice." "And what exactly does justice look like to you in this situation?" Thomas asked, leaning forward. "It looks like Mark losing everything he cares about. His business, his reputation, his freedom, just like he tried to take everything from me." Thomas studied me for a moment. "You've always been formidable, Bianca. But this is another level. When someone shows you who they are, believe them," I said. "Mark showed me he's a murderer. I'm just making sure everyone else sees it too." My plan was simple. Get Mark to confess and make sure everyone important in his life heard it. No recordings, no cameras. Those could be disputed. I needed witnesses. The opportunity came during a dinner party Elena insisted on throwing for Mark's birthday. His business partners were there, along with his parents and our close friends. 15 people total. "This is a terrible idea," Mark had complained the night before. "Your mother can barely make it up the stairs without help. How is she going to handle a dinner party?" "It's your birthday, Mark," Elena replied. "And Mom insisted. She says her memory is improving and she wants to celebrate with family." Mark froze. "What do you mean her memory is improving? What exactly does she remember?" Elena shrugged. "Just bits and pieces of her life before the accident. Why? Is there something she should remember about that day?" His face relaxed slightly. "No, nothing. I just worry about getting her hopes up." Throughout my recovery, I'd carefully built up the narrative that my memory was returning in flashes. Elena was hopeful. Mark was increasingly nervous. During dinner, I stood to make a toast. To Mark, who's been so supportive during my recovery. "Hear, hear!" someone called out. "It's funny," I continued, "how life works. One minute you're enjoying a view, the next you're falling through the air because your son-in-law has pushed you." The room went dead silent. "Mom?" Elena whispered. Mark laughed uncomfortably. "Bianca must be confused again. The doctors said this might happen." "I'm not confused, Mark. I remember everything now. The argument about how you've been hiding money from Elena. How you told me to back off. The feel of your hands on my shoulders." "This is ridiculous," Mark sputtered, looking around the table. "She's clearly not well." His business partner, James, looked uncomfortable. "Maybe we should go." "No, please stay," I said calmly. "Because there's more. While recovering in this house, I found some interesting documents in Mark's office." "You went through my things?" Mark stood up, knocking his chair backward. Elena, control your mother. What documents, Mom? Elena asked, her voice shaking. Letters to a realtor in Arizona. Plans to transfer company assets before filing for divorce. Mark's face went white. She's lying. Am I? Why don't you check your email, Elena? I forwarded everything to you this morning. Elena pulled out her phone, her hands trembling. You crazy old woman, Mark shouted, completely losing his composure. You should have died on that cliff when I pushed you. The room gasped collectively. Mark froze, realizing what he'd just admitted. His father stood up slowly. What did you just say, son? Mark looked around wildly. I didn't. She tricked me. We all heard you, James said quietly. Is that why you were so insistent on hiking that particular trail? His mother asked, horror dawning on her face. You planned this? No. Mom, you don't understand. I understand perfectly, she cut him off. I raised a monster. Elena was crying, staring at her phone. It's all true. Everything she said about the money, the divorce plans. There's an offshore account too, I added. The statements are in your email as well, Elena. How did you find all this? Mark demanded. You really should change your safe combination, I replied. Your wedding anniversary? Too obvious. Elena, baby, I can explain, Mark pleaded. Get out of my house, she whispered. This is my house too. Actually, I interjected, it's not. The house is in Elena's name, something I insisted on when you got married, remember? Detective Reynolds, who I'd invited under the pretense of being a family friend, stepped forward. Mark Johnson, I need you to come with me. As they led Mark away, he turned to me with pure hatred. This isn't over, Bianca. Yes, it is, I replied. You pushed me off a cliff and left me to die. Consider yourself lucky you're only facing attempted murder charges. The fallout was swift and complete. Mark's business partners dissolved their relationship with him immediately, his reputation in ruins. His parents, horrified by his actions, refused to help with legal fees. And Elena filed for divorce the next day. 3 months later, I was fully recovered and sitting in my daughter's garden. Tea? Elena offered, carrying out a tray. Thanks, sweetie. She sat beside me. The divorce was finalized yesterday. How do you feel? Relieved. She sighed. I can't believe I never saw who he really was. Manipulators are good at hiding their true selves, I said, patting her hand. His sentencing is next week, she said quietly. 15 years, the prosecutor thinks. I nodded. Justice. I saw him at the hearing, Elena said, stirring her tea. He tried to speak to me. What did he say? That he was sorry, that he made a terrible mistake. She set her cup down. I told him his mistake was not making sure you were dead, because now he has to live with what you did to him. I couldn't help but smile. You didn't. I did. She smiled back. The look on his face was priceless. Mom, she hesitated. When you were lying in that hospital bed, did you already know then that you were going to destroy him? I knew I was going to reveal the truth, I corrected. He destroyed himself. But you set a trap. I smiled. I gave him the opportunity to reveal who he really was, in front of witnesses. No recordings, no evidence that could be disputed, she mused. Just his own words. Exactly. You're kind of scary, you know that? But she was smiling a little. Only to people who deserve it, I replied. Like those who push their mothers-in-law off cliffs. Thomas joined us, carrying a folder. The paperwork for the new foundation, he said, handing it to me. After Mark's arrest, his company had collapsed. I'd bought the assets for pennies on the dollar through a business contact, restructured everything, and created a foundation to help victims of domestic violence. Mark's former business now funded safe houses and legal aid. Poetic justice? Elena commented, reviewing the papers. The best kind, I agreed. Later that evening, as we sat watching the sunset, from a safe distance from any cliffs, Elena asked, Do you think you'll ever forgive him? I considered this. No, I said finally. Some actions don't deserve forgiveness, but I won't waste energy hating him either. Living well while he sits in prison is enough for me. She nodded. He sent a letter, an apology. And? I burned it without reading it, she admitted. Some bridges should stay burned. I squeezed her hand. That's my girl. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I thought about how close I'd come to death, and how completely Mark had underestimated me. He thought pushing an older woman off a cliff would be the end of his problems. Instead, it was just the beginning of his nightmare. You know what I learned from all this? I said to Elena. What's that? Never underestimate a survivor. We're more dangerous than victims, because we've got nothing left to lose. She raised her glass. To survivors. I clinked my glass against hers. And to cliffs, may our enemies fall off them instead of us. We both laughed, the sound carrying into the twilight. Sometimes justice comes not from the law, but from the sheer will of someone who refuses to go quietly into the night. What would you do if someone tried to kill you and failed? Would you go straight to the authorities, or would you take matters into your own hands like I did?